right.
Stick with your girl. Good to have me on your side. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to First Take. Thank you for being with us. My fella's looking clean on a Super Bowl Monday. Max Kellerman, I'm Molly Karen Rose, Stephen A. Smith. How we doing?
I'm all right.
We got a lot to talk about today.
You sure do.
Yeah. All right, let's get it. 7 rings, 7 for TB12. More than any franchise, yes, not player, franchise in NFL history, the undisputed GOAT, reminding us why age ain't nothing but a number. Huge congrats to the Bucs. Tampa, talk that talk.
This has been an amazing year. Amazing year. We got off to a good start, 7-2, and then had a little rough stretch where we kind of found our identity and played a lot better football down last December, January. And just really proud of all the guys, proud of all the coaches, the effort we put in. We knew we were playing a great football team tonight, and we got the job done. So you want to get this far, you got to get the job done, and we did it.
His leadership is off the charts, and he's a winner, man, and that's all you can say. He brought a winning mentality to a really talented football team that didn't know how to win.
All right, Stephen A., listen, I might have got the Bucs score right, but I certainly didn't get the Chiefs. Right. Were you surprised by the beatdown that took place?
No, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. Listen, I picked the Chiefs to win this game. I knew that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would score over 30. I knew they'd find a way to put up points because I wasn't that enamored with Kansas City's defense. But I certainly didn't expect Tampa Bay's defense to do what they did. To get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, to pressure him on 32.7% of the snaps, I think that was the number. To sit up there and watch him scrambling for his life. Listen, you only blitzed about 5 times. So with your front four, you were getting at him. This kid, Devin White, was an absolute monster. He was an absolute monster. And this kid, Levante David, if I remember correctly, helped smother Travis Kelce. We got to give credit where credit is due in that regard. But I'm shocked because even with all of that being said, even with trouble on your offensive line at the right tackle and the left tackle, I don't give a damn about any of that. To be held to 9 points, for the Kansas City Chiefs offense to not even get in the end zone one time, it was an absolute positive beat down. They got beat down. They got their ass kicked. Yeah. Period. I'm going to say it. It needs to be said. And let me tell you something right now. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. And I got a call last night from 2 people. I was literally told to give credit in hour number 1 to somebody, and then the other person hour number 2. So Charlie Mack I'm gonna have to pay homage to him in hour number 2. Hour number 1 right here to start off the show, Hove himself, Jay-Z. Okay. You make sure you tell the world, I told you that the Buccaneers was gonna stomp them. Not only did he predict a win, he predicted a blowout.
Real recognized.
And I ignored them and shoved them aside.
Jay gets the first hour. Hour 1. Yeah.
Jay-Z gets hour number 1. It's yours. All right. I pay homage. I bow down. He predicted a beatdown. And I was like, you know what? Listen, something wrong with you. Something seriously wrong with you. But he ended up being absolutely right. You know, he probably did, but he don't need it. So, I mean, this is what it is. I didn't expect this, Max. I didn't expect it. And major props. The MVP of this game was Todd Bowles.
Yeah,
the defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay. He was the MVP of the game, and I think the only reason why the defense itself didn't get the MVP award is because there were so many dudes that were so great on the defensive side of the ball that you couldn't have just one definitive person to give it out. Otherwise, they'd have got the MVP over Tom Brady. But in the end, that's what this comes down to. They deserve a lot of props. They were dominant, and they played smash-mouth football and flat-out punked the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's what happened.
You mentioned White. Shaquille Barrett could have gotten it, too. Shaq Barrett could have gotten it, too. I'll say this. I was not expecting it. I expected Mahomes to be Superman and the Chiefs to win. But I did think he'd need to be Superman to win. And I can't say I'm shocked by the blowout. It reminded me as the game went on of the Giants-Ravens Super Bowl, where the Ravens had this dominant defense and a couple things didn't break early the Giants' way. This is going back 20 years now. And it just snowballed. The refs made a couple ticky-tack calls on hold and PI that, you know, I don't like in the Super Bowl, but it wouldn't have, in the end, it wouldn't have mattered. But that shifted things at a time where, oh, wait a minute, they could have the interception and possession down a score, and now all of a sudden they're down 2 scores, stuff like that. But this is why I'm not shocked. And I was talking about this not only on this show, but also on the radio show, Max Kellerman Show, 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN
2 p.m.
Radio.
to 4
Great
p.m.
listen.
2 p.m. to
Great
4
watch
Thank you very
as well.
much. Yes.
Time, real right.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a mismatch on the line of scrimmage. A mismatch on the line of scrimmage. And Brady's not going to do you any favors like some of these other quarterbacks that Mahomes has faced in comebacks where they start making mistakes. He's going to cut the mistakes down when he needs to. The mismatch on the line of scrimmage was the entire thing. Todd Bowles, everyone's saying he's the MVP. It's true. But let's be honest. You know the key to the whole game is get pressure with 4. You can. It's not that the Chiefs' offensive line was playing badly. They were playing as well as they could, but they were physically overmatched. They were missing 3 starters, 4 offensive linemen altogether, and both starting tackles. And they're going up against Shaq Barrett and JPP, and in the middle, Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh, plus those linebackers. It was a mismatch. So how big a mismatch? You mentioned snaps. How about dropbacks? Mina Kimes had it last night after the game on Twitter. He was pressured on over throughout the game. 50% of his dropbacks, but they only
I think it was
blitzed.
29 times the most in Super Bowl
Yeah, out of
history.
56, it's over 50%. But they only blitzed when they under 10%. Right. So you blitz under 10% of the dropbacks, but you get over 50% pressure. And then on the flip side, on the other side of the ball, it was just the opposite. I said the Bucs offensive line, and they had a few guys missing off the line in November, and they didn't look so great, but they've been healthy. They were a top 5 offensive line all year. And the difference in protection, Tom Brady had a clean pocket, had 0 pressure on him all game. Stephen A., how does it go? He had time to do what behind the line of scrimmage?
You know, pick up the phone, call his wife, tell her what he wants for dinner, do all of that stuff before he even threw a pass.
If you give Tom Brady that, he is going to kill you. And on the flip side, Mahomes was running for his life all game. So I can't say that I was shocked because mismatch on the line of scrimmage is probably the best indicator of who's going to win the game. I just thought Mahomes somehow, some way would figure out a way back, and I thought it'd be a comeback. And in fact, the broadcast, they kept mentioning it. The Chiefs got him right where they want him.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this. But it wasn't that kind of party. That Bucs defense destroyed the Chiefs' banged-up line of offensive line, dominated the line of scrimmage.
Listen, you can point to the line of scrimmage all you want to, and I'm not saying that's false because obviously that's a component in all of this. But I recall Tyreek Hill dropping a touchdown pass. I recall Travis Kelce dropping a key first down pass. I recall McCole Hardman. That's right, on third down. I recall McCole Hardman being a virtual no-show. I thought he was going to be a significant X factor in all of this. And, oh, by the way, the few times that Kansas City actually tried to run the ball, they ran it relatively effectively, but they didn't stick to it. And then we can debate a couple of things. And I'm certainly not saying that this dictated the outcome, but Andy Reid and his son getting himself in trouble. You never know what kind. People pointed to that distraction. They looked ill-prepared. They looked ill-prepared at times, and we got to pay attention to that as well. Again, that's not the predominant factor. I'm in no way trying to imply that, but I've had, first of all, at least 2 or 3 of Brady's former teammates text me last night, and at least 4 Hall of Famers. Every single one of them, not me, every single one of them brought up Andy Reid and what happened with his son and how this team was distracted coming in. Then they had to travel there on a Saturday while Tampa is at home. All of these things could have contributed.
Other factors, though, the punter, there was questionable calls.
Don't get me started with the rookie punter and him shaking the punt. Don't even get me started with that. And then you could point out the questionable calls. But here's why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they got beat down. You know,
I agree.
It's like, Max, to use your boxing analogy, it's like somebody stepping into it. There's a difference to you getting caught with a punch and, you winning. You Tommy Hearns and you fighting Iran Barkley and you just get caught. It's a difference between that and William Joppy running into Felix Trinidad and just getting annihilated.
Every round.
It's a different thing.
I agree.
And that's means, what happened to Kansas City last night. They got beat
And that means
down.
that like the interception that was taken back, PI, all that stuff. In the end, either you're resilient or you're not. You have to overcome those things. So I'm not even focusing on that. But I do want to say something about people focusing on Andy Reid and his son and the distraction. It's not revisionist history. Let's be honest about the Chiefs. This is the sloppiest dominant team I can remember in the NFL. Going back to the loss against Brady with the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. The game is over. Brady threw an interception. It's over. Defensive pre-snap penalty. You hand the ball back to Tom Brady. And then last year in the playoffs, He had a double-digit deficit in every playoff game they had to overcome. So it's as though the Chiefs were kind of sleepwalking, especially early in games, through this whole run, and then they just turned it on.
Yeah.
They could not turn it on against the Bucs.
I'd say the line more so than Andy Reid. I just want to mention this quickly because you talked about in the past he's had to come back. This was the first Super Bowl ever he scored a touchdown in the first quarter. And then
Tom Brady.
Yes, and then the 22-point margin. That's the largest victory in his 7 titles. But at the end of the day, he got it done. The guy's the undisputed GOAT. You'll debate that later. I won't. Patrick Mahomes was 4 of 12 passing on 3rd down for 46 yards, 0 TDs, and an INT. For the entire game, he had 0 touchdowns and 2 total interceptions. It was not his night. Patrick.
They beat us pretty good. The worst I think I've been beaten in a long time.